Welcome back everyone and welcome to the channel Coin Star where hidden history meets unbelievable value. Today we are diving into one of the most fascinating and mysterious American coins ever talked about, the one-dime 1970 United States of America Liberty coin, a small silver-colored piece that at first glance looks ordinary and worth only 10 cents. Yet in rare circumstances has been associated by collectors and experts with astonishing figures reaching up to $1.6 million, making it one of the most talked about dimes among top views coin videos and passionate numismatists. And as we begin this journey, imagine holding a tiny coin between your fingers, minted more than half a century ago, never meant to be extraordinary, passed through countless hands, possibly forgotten in pockets, jars, and drawers, yet hiding secrets so powerful that they transform a simple 10-cent face value into life-changing wealth. And that is exactly why this 1970 dime has captured global attention. Because the United States dime of this era represents a transition period in American coinage history, a time shortly after the removal of silver from circulating dimes, when minting technology, dies, and quality control were undergoing adjustments that unintentionally created some of the most valuable errors ever discovered, and the Liberty design itself carries immense historical and emotional weight, symbolizing freedom, strength, and national identity during a time of social and economic transformation in America, which only adds to the mystique when an error appears on such a symbolically powerful coin. And the fascination starts with understanding what a normal 1970 dime should be, typically struck in a copper nickel-clad composition with a Roosevelt portrait on the obverse and a torch flanked by olive and oak branches on the reverse, representing liberty, peace, and strength. Yet in rare instances something went wrong, something incredibly rare, something collectors search for endlessly. Errors so subtle yet so dramatic in impact that they redefine the coin entirely, and one of the most astonishing possibilities discussed by experts is the wrong planchet error, where a 1970 dime may have been accidentally struck on a silver planchet intended for earlier issues or foreign coinage, instantly multiplying its value beyond imagination. Because a silver composition where none should exist becomes an irrefutable anomaly, a physical contradiction of official mint records. And when such a coin surfaces authenticated by professional grading services, it becomes a headline maker, sparking bidding wars and speculative valuations climbing towards 7 figures. And another extraordinary factor is the missing mint mark error, particularly associated with proofs or special strikes where a mint mark was intended but never impressed due to grease-filled dies or misaligned punches. And while some missing mint marks are common and add modest value, specific combinations from 1970 tied to proof-like surfaces, deep mirror finishes, and uncirculated preservation elevate the coin into an elite category that investors and collectors aggressively pursue. And then there are double die errors, among the most visually captivating and valuable mistakes in coin collecting, where the design appears doubled due to a misalignment during the die creation process. And on a 1970 dime this can manifest in doubling on Liberty inscriptions, date numerals, or even facial features, giving the portrait an almost ghostly appearance that instantly signals rarity. And when such doubling is strong and well-defined rather than machine-related, it becomes a true double die variety, one that cannot be replicated or artificially created. And this authenticity drives extraordinary value because collectors know that once these coins are locked into collections, they may not resurface for decades. And further adding to the mystique is the off-metal strike possibility, where a 1970 dime may have been struck on a foreign coin planchet, aluminum, bronze, or even experimental metals, resulting in incorrect weight, color, and thickness that defy expectations. And these mistakes are essentially mint accidents frozen in time, unintentional works of industrial art that tell the story of human error within massive automated systems. And beyond planchet issues there are die cap errors, where a coin sticks to the die and strikes subsequent coins, creating distorted, stretched designs. And although such errors are more commonly seen on cents, when they occur on dimes they are exceptionally rare and highly sought after. And if such an error occurred in 1970 and survived circulation without damage, the value becomes astronomical due to the convergence of date rarity, denomination rarity, and error type rarity. And the conversation inevitably turns toward transitional errors, among the most valuable of all, where coins are struck using leftover materials or dies from previous years. And in the case of the 1970 dime the possibility of being struck on a 1964 silver planchet is the ultimate collector fantasy, because it directly contradicts the official end of silver dime production, and such a coin represents a historical glitch, a moment when the past and present collided inside the mint. And these transitional errors are so rare that even a single confirmed example becomes a legend, frequently cited in books, auction catalogs, and online discussions. Driving speculative valuations upward as collectors imagine what they might pay if another example were discovered, and condition plays an equally powerful role, because a rare error in poor condition may be valuable, but the same error in pristine uncirculated or proof-like condition becomes exponentially more desirable, especially when original luster, sharp strikes, and minimal contact marks remain intact. And when professional grading services assign top grades to such pieces, the market reacts dramatically, because high-grade errors are often unique or nearly so, meaning competition has nowhere else to go, and this scarcity-driven demand is exactly how values escalate from thousands to hundreds of thousands and eventually into the realm of million-dollar coins. And the liberty symbolism resonates deeply with collectors who view these coins not just as currency but as historical artifacts representing American ideals, and when an error disrupts that idealized image it paradoxically enhances its appeal, because it humanizes the process and adds narrative depth, transforming metal into story, and the storytelling potential of such a coin fuels top views videos across platforms, where audiences are captivated by the idea that a simple dime in their pocket could change their life, inspiring people worldwide to examine their change with renewed curiosity. And this cultural impact itself feeds back into the market, increasing awareness and competition, and while skeptics may question million-dollar valuations, history shows that numismatic markets reward uniqueness, documented rarity, and compelling narratives, and the 1970 dime checks all three boxes when paired with the right error, and auction history repeatedly demonstrates that when two determined bidders compete for a once-in-a-lifetime coin, price becomes almost irrelevant compared to ownership. And this psychological dynamic is crucial to understanding how a 10-cent coin can reach seven figures, because it is not just metal being sold, it is opportunity, status, history, and the thrill of discovery, and many collectors believe that undiscovered examples still exist, sitting unnoticed in collections formed decades ago when error collecting was less mainstream, and this belief keeps the hunt alive, ensuring sustained interest and speculation. And the potential for future discoveries adds another layer of value because it means the story is not finished, and every new discovery reignites media attention, resetting benchmarks and expectations, and as technology advances with better imaging, weighing, and authentication tools, previously overlooked errors may finally be identified, pushing the boundaries of what is considered possible, and the 1970 dime remains at the center of these conversations because it sits at a crossroads of history, technology, and chance. Minted during a period of change yet still close enough to the silver era to allow for extraordinary mistakes, and this liminal position is exactly where legends are born, and whether or not one personally believes in the highest valuations, the undeniable truth is that the one-dime 1970 United States of America Liberty coin represents the ultimate numismatic dream, a reminder that even the smallest objects can hold immense value when rarity, error, and history align. And this is why collectors continue to search, why videos continue to trend, and why stories of million-dollar dimes refuse to fade, because deep down they speak to the universal hope that hidden treasures still exist, waiting patiently for the right eyes to recognize them, turning ordinary moments into extraordinary discoveries and transforming simple change into symbols of possibility, legacy, and astonishing worth. The most fascinating, mysterious, and shocking stories in modern American coin history, a story that has captured collectors, treasure hunters, and everyday people around the world, because what looks like an ordinary one-dime 2005p United States of America Liberty in God We Trust coin could, under extremely rare circumstances, be worth up to $2.8 million, making it one of the most valuable modern dimes ever discussed, and in this video we are exploring how a simple 10-cent coin transformed from a pocket change item into a legendary piece of numismatic excitement due to minting errors, mistakes, mint mark anomalies, and incredible possibilities that most people never think to check when they look at their change, because the 2005p dime was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which normally produces coins without a visible mint mark. And while millions upon millions of these Roosevelt dimes entered circulation with no fanfare at all, a tiny fraction may carry dramatic minting irregularities that separate them completely from their face value and elevate them into an entirely different category of worth, demand, and historical importance. And to understand how this happens, we need to appreciate that modern coin production is a complex industrial process involving planchet preparation, metal alloy mixing, die creation, hubbing, striking pressure, alignment calibration, and quality control, and even with advanced technology mistakes still occur, and when they do, those mistakes are frozen into metal forever, turning everyday currency into rare artifacts that collectors are willing to pay life-changing money for. And in the case of the one-dime 2005p, the potential value explosion comes from a combination of highly specific errors, including wrong planchet strikes where the dime is mistakenly struck on a planchet intended for another denomination or even another metal composition entirely, such as being struck on a silver or foreign alloy planchet. That dramatically changes its weight, thickness, color, sound, and magnetic properties, and such wrong planchet errors are among the most sought after because they prove that the coin should not physically exist in that form, making it a mint-created accident of the highest order, and when authenticated such a coin instantly becomes a centerpiece of any serious collection. And another possibility lies in off-metal strikes or transitional composition errors, where leftover experimental blanks or test alloys were unintentionally fed into regular production lines, especially during years when the mint was optimizing machinery or changing suppliers, and even microscopic differences in metal ratios can be detected by experts and grading services, and these deviations can propel value into the 6 or 7-figure range when combined with pristine condition and verified provenance. And then there are die errors, which are responsible for some of the most visually dramatic and valuable varieties, including double die obverse or reverse errors where design elements such as the word liberty, the date 2005, Roosevelt's profile, or the inscriptions "I and God We Trust" and United States of America appear clearly doubled, not from damage but from misalignment during the die creation process itself. And true double dies are extremely rare compared to machine doubling and command massive premiums because they originate directly from flawed dies rather than post-strike movement, and a strong double die dime from a modern year like 2005 would be considered extraordinary, especially if the doubling is bold, consistent, and visible to the naked eye. And then there are missing or partial clad layer errors, where the copper core or outer nickel layers fail to bond correctly, resulting in coins that appear oddly colored, lighter than normal, or missing an entire layer on one side. And these errors dramatically change both the appearance and weight of the coin, and when fully documented they become powerful evidence of mint malfunction, and the market reacts strongly to such mistakes because they are finite and irreproducible. And another rare category involves strike-through errors, where foreign materials such as grease, cloth fibers, metal shavings, or even fragments of broken dies become trapped between the die and planchet during striking, leaving behind strange raised or incuse patterns that were never intended. And while many strike-throughs are minor, some are extreme enough to significantly distort the design while still remaining clearly mint-created, and these dramatic anomalies can push a coin into elite rarity status, especially when combined with other factors like off-center strikes, which occur when the planchet is not properly seated in the striking chamber, leading to partial designs, missing inscriptions, and visible blank areas. And a severe off-center 2005p dime with a full date visible and strong mint error characteristics would ignite fierce competition among collectors, and even more astonishing are blockage errors and double strike errors, where a coin is struck more than once or struck against another coin rather than a die, resulting in mirror image designs or overlapping impressions, creating surreal and unmistakable visuals that cannot be duplicated outside the mint environment. And when such errors happen on modern coins, their rarity is amplified because quality control generally prevents them, making survivors exceptionally scarce. And mint mark anomalies also play a critical role, even though the Philadelphia Mint traditionally produces coins without mint marks, because there have been historical cases where mint marks appeared where they should not, disappeared where they should be present, or were distorted, repunched, or placed incorrectly due to experimental dies or transitional processes. And while a 2005p dime normally lacks a mint mark, the presence of an anomalous mark or ghost impression could indicate a mule error, which is one of the most valuable error types in all of numismatics, occurring when mismatched dies intended for different coins are paired together. And mule errors are famous for generating million-dollar valuations because they represent complete breakdowns in mint protocol. And the reason the one dime 2005p has sparked rumors and fascination with a $2.8 million valuation is not because every example is valuable, but because the possibility exists that one or more coins escaped the mint carrying a combination of catastrophic errors that align perfectly with what elite collectors seek, including extreme rarity, undeniable authenticity, visual impact, and historical intrigue, and in the high-end numismatic market, value is driven not by age alone but by the story a coin tells, the improbability of its existence, and the desire of wealthy collectors to own something no one else can, and a unique or near-unique modern-era coin becomes a trophy object, comparable to famous paintings or rare gemstones, and auction history has shown that when two or more bidders with deep pockets compete over a singular piece, prices can skyrocket far beyond standard price guides, and another factor that dramatically influences value is condition, because an error coin that survives without circulation wear, retaining original mint luster, sharp details, and minimal handling marks, will always command a premium, and a 2005 dime preserved in near-perfect state combined with a major error would be virtually unheard of, magnifying its desirability exponentially, and certification is essential, because only coins authenticated and graded by top-tier services are accepted in the highest levels of the market, and when such a coin is encapsulated with clear attribution of its error type and uniqueness, it gains legitimacy, liquidity, and investor confidence, and it becomes eligible for record-setting auction appearances, and it is at that level where multi-million-dollar valuations become conceivable, not as everyday occurrences but as peak outcomes under ideal circumstances, and it is important to understand that face value has no bearing on this process, because once a coin is recognized as an error rarity, it is no longer treated as money but as an artifact, and the 10 cents stamped on the dime becomes irrelevant compared to the story embedded in the metal, and this transformation from ordinary to extraordinary is what fuels the thrill of checking pocket change, searching coin rolls, and examining collections inherited or forgotten, because history has proven time and again that discoveries are still being made, even in modern issues, and the one dime 2005p stands as a symbol of that possibility, reminding us that rarity is not always about centuries-old coins, but about moments when technology failed in just the right way, and when human oversight allowed something impossible to slip through, and as interest in error coins continues to grow worldwide, driven by online communities, auction visibility, and educational content, the spotlight on modern rarities intensifies, and collectors are now more informed and more motivated than ever to look closely at coins that were once ignored, and that is why stories of million-dollar dimes resonate so powerfully, because they challenge assumptions and ignite imagination. And whether such a $2.8 million example is sitting unnoticed in a drawer, a jar, or a collection is unknown, but what is certain is that the potential exists, and that possibility alone keeps collectors searching, learning, and dreaming, because every legendary coin begins as an ordinary object until someone recognizes its difference, and in the world of numismatics, that recognition can turn 10 cents into a fortune. The way you look at loose change in your pocket, especially if you have ever ignored a simple dime thinking it was only worth 10 cents, today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and mysterious modern United States coins ever talked about online, the one dime 2008p from the United States of America, a coin that on the surface seems ordinary, common, and forgettable, but beneath that simple silver-colored face hides stories of rare errors, shocking mint mistakes, dramatic mint mark anomalies, collector speculation, and unbelievable value claims that have pushed its rumored worth as high as $3.4 million, making it one of the most talked about modern coins on top views YouTube videos across the world, and in this video we are going to explore why this single dime has captured so much attention, how errors can transform pocket change into life-changing money, and why collectors never stop searching for this coin. The 2008p dime was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally does not use a mint mark on older coins but in modern times uses the P mint mark to identify its origin. This dime features President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse, a design that has been in use since 1946, honoring the president who guided America through the Great Depression and World War II and supported the March of Dimes, while the reverse shows a torch symbolizing liberty, an olive branch for peace, and an oak branch for strength, with inscriptions that read United States of America, e pluribus unum, and one dime, along with the iconic words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." Now at face value this coin is worth exactly 10 cents, nothing more, nothing less, and millions of 2008 dimes were produced, making most of them extremely common, but collectors know that value is not created by age alone, and rarity is often born from mistakes, errors, and unexpected variations that were never meant to leave the mint. In 2008 the Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of dimes using high-speed machinery, automated feeding systems, and mass production methods that leave very little room for individual inspection, and when even the smallest error slips through, it can create a coin that is totally different from the rest of its batch. This is where the story of the potentially multi-million-dollar 2008 P dime begins. One of the most discussed possibilities surrounding this dime is the presence of dramatic minting errors such as off-center strikes, where the design is not properly aligned with the planchet, resulting in part of the coin being blank. If a 2008 P dime were struck significantly off-center while still showing the date and mint mark clearly, its value could increase from 10 cents to hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on severity, but the coins rumored to reach millions are said to involve far more extreme and rare mistakes, such as double die obverse or double die reverse errors, where the design elements like Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, Roosevelt's profile, or the torch and branches appear double due to a misaligned die during the hubbing process. True double die errors are among the most valuable and sought-after coin varieties in American numismatics, and if a previously undocumented and dramatic double die 2008 P dime were discovered and authenticated, collectors could go into a bidding frenzy, especially if the doubling is strong and visually obvious without magnification. Another powerful value driver is the possibility of a wrong planchet error, which occurs when a coin is struck on a blank intended for a different denomination or even a different metal composition altogether. Imagine a 2008 P dime struck on a copper planchet meant for a penny, or on a planchet meant for a foreign coin. Such an error would immediately stand out due to its unusual color, weight, and thickness. And wrong planchet errors are some of the most prized modern mint errors because they prove a major breakdown in mint quality control. A confirmed 2008 P dime struck on the wrong metal and preserved in high condition could be worth tens of thousands or more, and if paired with additional errors like doubling or misalignment, its value could skyrocket into the realm of legendary coins. There is also intense discussion around missing clad layer errors. Since modern dimes are made of a copper core bonded between layers of copper nickel, if one of those outer layers is missing, the coin appears darker or reddish and weighs less than normal. Missing clad layer dimes are rare and highly collectible, and a dramatic example from 2008 with strong eye appeal could command huge prices. Collectors also talk about broad strike errors where the coin is struck outside of its retaining collar, causing it to spread outward and appear wider than normal with no reeded edge. These errors are visually impressive and instantly recognizable, and if combined with other anomalies, they add significant value. Another critical aspect that drives the legend of the $3.4 million 2008 P dime is condition rarity. Even error coins must survive in pristine or near-perfect condition to achieve record-breaking prices. A coin graded at MS-68 or higher by a major grading service with a dramatic and unique error could become a trophy piece for elite collectors, who often compete fiercely for the best-known examples of modern rarities, and when competition meets scarcity, prices can reach astonishing levels. The mint mark itself also plays a role in this coin's mystique. Some rumors focus on malformed or misplaced P mint marks, where the mint mark appears doubled, shifted, tilted, or strangely shaped due to die damage or overpunching. While the Philadelphia Mint uses modern mint mark punching methods, anomalies can still occur, and collectors are always on the lookout for unusual mint mark variations that set a coin apart from the standard issue. Die cracks, cuts, and retained die breaks are another category of errors that can greatly increase value. These occur when a die becomes damaged over time and begins to crack or break, leaving raised lines or blobs of metal on the struck coin. A massive cut error on a 2008 P dime affecting a large portion of the design would be extremely rare and highly desirable, especially if it alters Roosevelt's portrait or the torch design dramatically. Then there are rotated die errors, where the obverse and reverse are not properly aligned, resulting in the back of the coin being turned at an unusual angle relative to the front. While small rotations are common, a dramatic rotation can add significant collector interest and value. Another fascinating possibility includes mule errors, which occur when two dies from different denominations are paired together, creating a coin with mismatched designs on each side. Mule errors are among the rarest and most valuable mint mistakes ever produced, and if a genuine 2008 mule dime involving an incorrect pairing were discovered, it would instantly become one of the most important modern U.S. error coins known, justifying million-dollar valuations. The reason this particular coin has gained so much attention on top views YouTube videos is not only because of its rumored value, but because it represents the dream that ordinary people can still find extraordinary treasure in everyday change. Thousands of collectors and hobbyists search through rolls of dimes hoping to find that one coin that changes their life, and stories of rare coins discovered by chance fuel this excitement. Whether or not a $3.4 million 2008 P dime has officially sold at that level, the discussion itself highlights how modern coins are no longer ignored by serious collectors. In fact, modern era coins are one of the fastest growing segments of the numismatic market. Because they combine accessibility with the thrill of discovery, the internet has also played a major role in amplifying the legend of this dime. Videos showcasing rare era coins, dramatic magnified images, and bold value claims attract millions of views, sparking curiosity and debate in the comments. Some viewers become inspired to start collecting, others dig through jars of change that have been sitting untouched for years, and a few lucky individuals may actually find valuable errors worth real money. The idea that a small dime could be worth millions challenges our perception of money and value, reminding us that worth is not determined by denomination alone, but by rarity, demand, history, and uniqueness. Collectors are willing to pay extraordinary amounts for coins that represent something special, something that should not exist, something that tells a story of human error inside a massive industrial system. The 2008 P dime symbolizes that story perfectly. It comes from an era of advanced technology and precision, yet it proves that even in modern times mistakes can still happen, and when they do, they create opportunities for discovery and profit. If you ever come across a 2008 dime with a P mint mark, do not dismiss it immediately. Examine it closely under good lighting, check the weight, look for doubling, inspect the edges, study the mint mark, and compare it with known examples, because while most are only worth 10 cents, a tiny fraction could be worth thousands or even more. The legend of the $3.4 million dime may inspire skepticism in some and excitement in others, but it undeniably keeps the world of coin collecting alive and vibrant, and that is why this simple-looking coin continues to dominate discussions, searches, and top-view videos, capturing the imagination of people around the world who believe that treasure can still be found in the most unexpected places, even in a single dime.